Have you ever imagined holding your newborn in your arms and then finding out that the baby was planned in a secret conversation that did not include you? If you discovered that the happiest day of your life was built on a lie, would you walk away, or would you try to rebuild your life on top of that broken truth? Today I want to tell you the story of someone who had to answer that question for real, not in theory, not in a late-night debate, but in a hospital room that still smelled like disinfectant and sweat. If you listen to this story to the end, you might look at love, family, and trust in a very different way. We start in a delivery room in a large city, and it could be any large city you know. Bright lights are in her eyes, her body is shaking, and a nurse is placing a tiny baby girl on her chest. Her name is Mia, she is in her early 30s, and for the last few years her whole life has been about one thing, trying to have this child. She looks down at the baby and cries with a strange mix of joy and fear and disbelief, because after so many failures she almost does not trust that this is real. Her husband, Ethan, is somewhere near her shoulder, kissing her forehead and whispering that he is proud of her. Her best friend, Lena, stands a little back, just outside the main circle of light, and she is clapping softly, and her smile is wide, but her eyes are shiny in a different way. The room is loud and busy, but under that noise there is a thin crack that no one talks about yet. After a while the staff takes the baby to be checked, and Mia is left in the room to rest. She is tired but too wired to sleep, and her mind is buzzing. She hears a voice in the corridor, a voice she knows very well.
She cannot find out now, do you understand?
The voice is Ethan, low and urgent, and he sounds nothing like the calm husband from a few minutes ago.
If she finds out now, she may not bond with a baby at all.
There is a pause, and Mia hears a second voice, softer and tense.
I know, but how long are you planning to keep this from her?
That second voice is Lena. It is a small moment, only a few lines in a hallway, but the air in the room changes for Mia. She lies there, staring at the ceiling, and her heart begins to beat in a new way, not from the labor, but from a cold feeling that slides up her spine. She is too weak to get up, she cannot even call out, so she just listens, and for a second she wonders if she imagined it. Then Ethan comes back into the room, smiling, holding the small bunch of flowers he probably grabbed from a hospital gift shop.
You were amazing. Everything is fine. You just need to rest.
Mia watches his face and wants to believe him, but the word fine feels heavy now. That is our jump-in point. Now we rewind, because for this to hurt the way it does, you need to know how they got here. 2 years before that night, Mia and Ethan are a regular married couple who think they have plenty of time. She teaches at a local school, he works in an office that has too many meetings and not enough meaning, and they talk about kids the way many couples do, like something that will just happen when life calms down a little. Life does not calm down, of course, but the idea of a baby moves from someday to soon, and they start trying. Month after month, nothing happens. At first they joke about it, then they track dates, then they buy tests, and slowly the fun part starts to feel like work. Their bedroom turns into a schedule, and every month that line on the test stays empty, and a small piece of Mia crumbles. At some point they go to a fertility clinic. You know the kind of waiting room I am talking about, quiet, too clean, little soft music, couples sitting in pairs with eyes that never quite meet. Mia sits there in a paper gown and has blood taken and scans done. Ethan taps on his phone, says it will be fine, says science is amazing. Weeks later they sit with a doctor, and the doctor explains that Mia has low egg quality. The doctor is kind and uses gentle words, but the message is simple: this will be very hard and maybe impossible with her eggs. Mia hears the words, smiles politely, and feels something inside her sink into a dark place. At home, she cries alone in the shower so Ethan will not see. She starts to look at her body like a broken machine that failed its main task. Ethan tries to comfort her, but he is clumsy with deep feelings.
We will figure it out. You know how many options there are now.
He says all the right phrases that you find in brochures, but he never quite reaches her actual pain. And in that gap, someone else steps in. That person is Lena, Mia's best friend since they were teenagers. Lena is the kind of woman who walks into a room and gets attention without trying, funny, sharp, always with a story. She is single, works in a creative job, and jokes about being the fun friend who will babysit someday but never settle down. When Mia tells Lena about the doctor and the eggs, Lena is quiet for once.
That is not fair. You would be an amazing mom.
They drink wine at Mia's kitchen table, and the air is heavy with that mix of comfort and jealousy that can live between friends. Then Lena says something that sounds like a joke at first.
If science could take my eggs and put them in your body, I would do it in a second.
Mia laughs and waves it away.
Stop, you do not have to say things like that.
But that sentence hangs in the air. The narrator, which is me, wants you to remember that moment, because later you will see it as the point where the ground under them quietly shifted. At the clinic, the doctor starts to talk about donor eggs. First, the doctor speaks in general terms about anonymous donors, success rates, and legal forms. Then comes a casual line about known donors, someone you know, someone you trust. Mia listens, but she feels like she is underwater. Ethan listens too, and something in his eyes changes. At home, Ethan brings up the idea again.
You heard what the doctor said. This could really work.
Mia shakes her head.
I do not want some stranger to be the mother of my child.
Ethan says something that sounds supportive but has an edge.
What matters is that you carry the baby and raise the baby. Biology is just details.
Biology feels like more than details to Mia, but she is tired and scared, and she starts to doubt her own feelings. She says she needs time, but time is the one thing she feels she does not have. While Mia is still in shock, a different conversation happens without her. Ethan meets Lena for coffee. He is desperate enough to cross lines he has not even admitted to himself yet.
You meant it, right? What you said about helping.
Lena looks at him with surprise at first, then with a strange light in her eyes.
You're serious? You think the clinic would even allow that?
They talk, they plan, they convince each other that this is a noble thing. They tell themselves that they are heroes, that future Mia will thank them. They also tell themselves that Mia is too fragile to handle the full truth right now. This is the key line that people use just before they do something unforgivable. She cannot handle the truth. Papers are signed, appointments are made, and there are forms that use the phrase known donor. Mia receives stacks of documents from the clinic. She is overwhelmed, scared, tired of bad news, and she starts to sign where they tell her to sign. She trusts the people she loves, and that trust is the tool that cuts her. One day a nurse makes a small mistake. On a consent form, Mia sees part of a name, 2 initials that look a lot like the first letters of Lena's name. When she asks about it, the nurse smiles quickly and says it is just an internal code. The answer does not fully make sense, but Mia is already used to not understand medical language around her own body. So she lets it slide, like you often do when you do not want to admit that your gut is screaming. Then one morning there is a test that finally comes back positive. After years of failure, the little stick shows a second line, and Mia sits on the bathroom floor and shakes with relief. Ethan drops to his knees in front of her and hugs her.
We did it. We are going to be parents.
A part of her wonders who exactly he means by we, but she pushes that thought away. Lena is thrilled when she hears the news.
I told you it would work out for you.
She becomes even more present than before. She drives Mia to appointments, she tracks symptoms with her, she touches Mia's belly with a careful kind of pride. When someone at a party jokes that Lena will be the fun aunt, something flickers across her face that Mia cannot read. During one doctor visit, a nurse makes a small slip.
It is great when donor cycles like this work so smoothly.
Mia freezes for a second. The nurse moves on and does not notice the reaction. Later, Mia asks Ethan about the word donor again.
Why did she call this a donor cycle? I thought this was still my treatment.
Ethan looks at her with that calm face he uses when he wants a conversation to end.
She was probably using the wrong term. They do hundreds of treatments. Do not overthink every word.
That line is another tool. Do not overthink. People say it when they need you to stop thinking right before you reach the truth. And so the pregnancy continues. There are cravings, swollen ankles, baby kicks that make Mia cry with a mix of joy and terror. There are late nights when she lies awake with a hand on her belly and whispers,
You are mine. I will love you no matter what.
She means it with her whole heart. Surrounding that tender center, the secret grows too. Ethan and Lena avoid certain topics when all three are together. They share quick looks when the clinic or the word donor comes up in conversation. Mia sees it, feels it, then tells herself she is tired and dramatic. Social media fills her phone with perfect pregnancy photos and glowing mothers. She feels both included and excluded at the same time. In this swirl of hormones and hope, the day of the birth finally arrives. Labor is long and messy and real. Mia screams, curses, begs, and at moments she wants to quit but has no way to do that. Finally, the baby slides into the world with a thin cry that cuts through every other sound. For a moment, all of the lies and doubts fall silent. We return to that hospital corridor and that phone call. Mia is lying in bed, her body raw and sore, and she hears Ethan's words through the thin wall.
If she finds out now, she will not bond with a baby.
She hears Lena's voice asking how long they are planning to keep this hidden. And in that moment, Mia knows two things. 1. There is a secret as big as her new child. 2. She is the only one in this story who does not know it. Exhaustion pulls her down, and the next thing she knows it is night. A nurse comes in, a young woman with dark circles under her eyes and a stack of files in her hands. She checks Mia's vitals and leaves one file on the bed for a second while she adjusts something on the monitor. The file flips open because the world has a dark sense of timing. Mia glances at the page and freezes when she sees a phrase at the top: donor egg, known donor, protocol approved. Her eye skims down the page and catches a code, a string of letters and numbers, and inside that string she sees something that looks exactly like Lena's initials and birth date. Before she can focus fully on it, the nurse notices and grabs the file.
Sorry, this is just internal paperwork. You should not have to worry about that now.
The apology is quick, the smile is stiff, and Mia hears the click of a locked door in her mind. When the nurse leaves the room, Mia stares at her phone for a long time. Her hands are shaking, but finally she types a message.
Did your eggs have anything to do with this treatment, or am I losing my mind?
She sends it to Lena and waits. The message shows as read, but no answer comes. On that blue word read, Mia builds a whole new level of panic. The next morning, Ethan walks in with coffee. He looks tired and strangely pale. Mia decides she is done being the only one in the dark.
I saw the file last night and I heard you in the hallway, so I want the truth right now.
Ethan freezes and silence spreads out like a stain. He tries to stall.
You just went through a lot. Maybe this is not the time for heavy talks.
She cuts him off with a look she has never used on him before.
If you do not tell me, I will ask the doctor, and I will ask for every record and test and form with my name on it.
There it is, the moment where pretending is no longer possible. Ethan sits down, puts his face in his hands, and then starts to talk.
Yes, there was a donor, and yes, it was someone you know.
Mia feels a wave of nausea.
Who is it?
He does not say the name out loud at first. He starts to explain about the success rates, the clinic rules, the legal rights. She stops him.
Say the name.
He finally looks at her.
It was Lena.
That sentence lands like a punch. The woman who held her hand through treatments, the woman who said she would give her eggs as a joke, did it for real, and did it in secret. Mia feels the room tilt. Her baby is in a small clear bassinet near the bed, and for a second Mia cannot even look at her. Ethan does what many people do after they confess a big lie.
We did it for you. We were scared you would say no, and this was the only way to make this work.
He describes meetings with the doctor and how they worried about her mental state.
We thought once you held the baby in your arms, you would not care about the rest.
That is the logic of cowards who want to feel like saviors. Later that day, Lena arrives at the hospital. Her eyes are red, like she has been crying for hours. She moves toward the baby, then stops when she sees Mia's face.
You know now.
Mia nods.
You went to a clinic with my husband and made a child behind my back and then placed that child in my body, and I was the last one to know.
Lena starts to talk fast.
I gave up my genetics so that you could be a mother. I did not steal anything from you. I was giving you something.
The words are framed like generosity, but under them there is fear. Fear of being left behind, fear of being replaced by a new family where she is just the outsider with old stories. In that room, all three of them stand around a newborn who has no idea that her existence is now a crime scene in the minds of the adults. The baby just sleeps, tiny fists near her face, unaware that identity and ownership are already being argued over her. This is the moment where Mia could break completely. Instead, something else happens. She feels a strange kind of calm, the kind that often arrives after a shock, when there are no more surprises left. She tells both of them to leave the room.
Get out, both of you. I need to be alone with my daughter.
It is the first time she uses that word, daughter, after hearing the truth, and the word tastes like both glass and honey. The days that follow are messy. Mia is discharged from the hospital and goes home with the baby, who she names Ellie. The house feels the same, but nothing is the same. The couch, the kitchen table, the photos on the wall, everything now whispers about the secret planning that took place without her. At night, when the baby cries, Mia gets up and feeds her. She looks at Ellie's face and searches for features, for signs. Is that nose like Ethan? Are those eyes like Lena? It is a dangerous game because every time she thinks she sees Lena in the baby, she feels a stab of rage that fights with her love. In the quiet hours, she has thoughts she is ashamed of. She wonders if she is just babysitting someone else's child. She wonders if she was only a rented body, a carrier in a plan she did not design. Then Ellie grips her finger with surprising strength, and that thought shatters. For Ellie, there is no concept of donors and genetics and betrayal. For Ellie, mother is simply the person who shows up at 3 in the morning and holds the bottle and rocks the chair until the world feels safe again. That simple fact sits beside the complicated truth like two chairs that do not match but have to share the same room. Ethan tries to fix things. He cooks, he cleans, he tells Mia that he will do anything to make it up to her. But every time he says anything, she hears the unspoken line, unless it means losing the result of my lie.
I know I messed up, but look at her. She exists because we took that risk.
There is that word again, we. The triangle is still there in that simple syllable. At some point, Mia orders a DNA test kit online in a moment of rage. She wants proof on paper of what she already knows, that Ellie is biologically linked to Ethan and Lena, not to her. The kit arrives and it sits on the kitchen counter like a bomb. For days she walks past it and cannot bring herself to open it. One night she almost does. She holds the little plastic container in her hands and imagines the result. What would she do with that information? Would she love Ellie less? Would she feel more or less real? In the end, she puts the kit back in the box and shoves it into a drawer. Instead, she turns to the one place where people overshare without filter, anonymous forums. She reads posts by women who used donors, by women who were donors, by people who found out late in life that their parents had lied about their origin. Some comments say that biology does not matter at all. Some say it matters more than anything. Many are written in anger about lies told in the name of love. As she reads, Mia feels less alone and more lost at the same time. The internet is full of people who know exactly what they would do in a situation like hers, but they are not the ones waking up every 2 hours to feed a real baby while trying not to resent the shape of that baby's face. After a few weeks of this emotional free fall, Mia decides she needs something less vague than online opinions. She makes an appointment with a lawyer. The lawyer is calm, older, and used to people coming in with tangled stories.
You carried this child and gave birth to this child, so in the eyes of the law you are the legal mother.
The words are dry, but they land with surprising weight for Mia.
A donor usually does not have parental rights, especially when everyone signed papers that say so.
Mia realizes that, on paper, Lena gave up more than she thought, and yet somehow has too much power in the story. The lawyer asks if she wants to sue, or to fight, or to press charges for fraud. She thinks about public battles, headlines, and dragging her daughter's story into the open. She shakes her head.
I do not want to use my child as a weapon. I just want my life back.
The lawyer nods and gives a different kind of advice.
Then set very clear boundaries now, while your daughter is still small and the habits are not fixed.
That phrase stays with her, clear boundaries. Up until now, her whole life with Ethan and Lena has been based on blurred lines. Lines between friend and family, between help and control, between surprise and secret. After that meeting, Mia sits in a small cafe with Ellie asleep in a stroller. She looks at her daughter and thinks about stories. Not legal stories, but the kind of story that will live in Ellie's head about who she is and where she came from. She could let the lie define that story. She could let Ethan and Lena frame the whole thing as a beautiful sacrifice that Mia was too fragile to handle. Or she could claim the story as her own, even if she cannot erase what they did. She decides that this is her call to adventure, if you like that language. This is the moment where she stops being the person things happen to and starts being the person who decides what happens next. She sends a message to Ethan and Lena and asks them to meet her at the apartment. There is no emoji, no friendly tone, just a simple request. When they arrive, the air in the room is tight. Ellie is in her crib in the next room, asleep. Mia stands, not sits, and that alone sets a new balance.
I spoke to a lawyer, so I understand my rights now.
Ethan looks scared.
Are you going to take her away from me?
It is interesting that this is his first fear, not about what he did to Mia, but about losing what he gained.
You lied to me about my own body and my own child, and that is not something I am going to shrug off.
She turns to Lena.
You wanted to be part of my family so badly that you made yourself the secret third parent in a plan I never agreed to.
Lena starts to cry.
I was afraid I would lose you when you became a mother and moved on with your perfect family. I wanted to be tied to you forever.
There it is, the truth inside the generosity. Mia listens, but she does not let this become a pity party for the people who hurt her. She lays out 3 points in simple language.
First, I am Ellie's mother, not because of genes, but because I am the one who carries her, feeds her, and will be here every day, and that is not open for discussion. Second, the two of you are not heroes in this story. You are people who are so afraid of my reaction that you chose a lie over my right to choose. Third, you do not get to own the story of Ellie's birth. That story belongs to me and to her when she is old enough to ask.
Then she talks about the future. She tells Ethan that she is going to file for divorce because a marriage built on that level of deceit is not a safe place to raise a child. She tells him he can still be Ellie's father, but he will have to earn any trust beyond basic duties. She tells Lena that she is not going to cut her out of the world completely because erasing a person does not erase the damage. But she will not let Lena slide into the role of cozy aunt who drops in for cute visits and wine.
You will always know that Ellie is your genetic child, and that is your burden to deal with, not hers. If someday she has questions and I decide it is time to tell her, I will tell her the truth, not the version that makes you look noble.
She gives them a choice that is not really a choice.
You can accept these boundaries and behave, or we can take this to court and let every detail of your secret project become part of a legal record.
They both agree to her terms because they are afraid of what might happen if the bright lights of a courtroom shine on their private hero story. Over the next months, things slowly shift. Ethan moves out. They set up a schedule for visits, and Mia keeps those visits calm and neutral for Ellie's sake. There are no shared dinners, no cozy family images. Lena keeps her distance more than she expected. It turns out that being a secret mother in the shadows is not as romantic as it sounded in her late-night fantasies. Sometimes she sends messages asking for photos. Sometimes Mia answers with a simple picture and no comment. Other times she does not answer at all. In that quiet space, Mia and Ellie build a life that is not perfect and not neat, but real. There are still nights when Mia wakes up in a panic and remembers that she has no genetic link to her daughter. On those nights she goes into Ellie's room, watches her sleep, and notices the way Ellie's small chest rises and falls in a rhythm that has nothing to do with DNA and everything to do with daily care. 2 years pass, then a few more. The drama of the early days turns into background noise. Ellie grows into a child, drawing and making up small stories about animals. When someone asks her who her mother is, she points at Mia without a pause. One day, when Ellie is a little older, she asks a simple question while they are baking together. She wants to know why she does not look exactly like Mia in the photos. Mia has been waiting for this moment, and she has thought about it many times. She decides to keep it simple and age-appropriate.
You were made with help from another woman, and I carried you and gave birth to you, and I have been your mother every day since then.
Ellie thinks for a second and then shrugs. Children have a way of accepting complex truths more easily than adults sometimes. For her, love is what she can touch and feel, not what a lab report says. That night Mia lies in bed and thinks back to the very first question we asked at the start of this story. If the happiest day of your life turned out to be built on a lie, could you still love the person at the center of that lie? Mia's answer, after all these years, is not neat, but it is honest. She does not forgive the lie. She does not think that Ethan and Lena did the right thing. She does not believe that love ever needs that much secrecy to survive. But she loves Ellie with a depth that has nothing to do with whose blood runs in whose veins. The lie created a life, yes, but the daily choice to show up and care turned that life into a family. If you strip this story down to its core, the lesson is not about genetics, clinics, or legal documents. It is about who gets to write the story of your life. When other people decide what you can handle and hide the truth to protect their own comfort, they are stealing that pen out of your hand. The only way to get it back is to insist on reality, even when it hurts, and then build something new on top of that reality instead of pretending the cracks are not there. So here is the simple moral in plain language. A lie can start a family on paper, but only the truth can make that family worth living in. If you stayed with me all the way to the end of this story, thank you, I really mean that. I know you could have clicked away at any moment, so the fact that you are still here with me and with Mia and Ellie means a lot. If you enjoyed this ride through someone else's beautiful mess and it made you think about your own life even a little bit, please tap the like button, it helps more than you think. If you want to hear more stories like this, full of human gold and human thorns, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next one. I would also love to hear what you think about this story, and if you would have made the same choices as Mia, let me know in the comments in your own words. If you feel like supporting this channel in a more direct way, you can use the QR code at the bottom right of the video or the link in the description to send a small donation, only if you want to and only if it is easy for you. In the description you will also find links to other works from completely different series on this channel, with different types of stories that still dig into the strange way people live and hurt and grow. For now I am going to let you go. Thank you again for spending this time with me, and I hope you will come back for the next story from Gold and Thorns.